with the best in the industry. Do business with the Davis.
Welcome to another episode of the Don Davis Real Estate Show. It's your host, Don Davis of Don Davis Luxury Realty Group, DDLRG, brokered by EXP. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. Upon that rock, He built His church. Upon that rock, we've built our business, and our results are a reflection of our character. If you'd like to evaluate our results at any time, feel free to go on to HomeLight, Zillow, Redfin, HAR Platinum, EXP Realty, and many more sources to evaluate our performance, to make sure we're taking good care of our clients, who we always keep first, because when it's all said and done, you're only as good as your last review, and your last review tells all about whether you're doing a great job for the customer or you're just doing a rush job for the customer. So we always keep the customer first, and based on the Word of God, who inspired us to start this business. And that's what we broadcast from 100.7 The Word FM, KKHT, sunny South Houston, Texas, 6161 Savoy. We have exciting show ahead for you today. March the 8th, 2020, where we're going to be talking about iBuyers. Yeah, we always talk about iBuyers, but we always talk about iBuyers. They buy, you buy, but guess what? Now we buy. Yes, EXP Realty buys homes now, but we buy pretty houses. We don't buy ugly houses. We buy pretty houses. So if you have a pretty house that you feel is valued under $400,000 and it's not in a gated community, please reach out to us. Once again, I said not I buy, not you buy, but we buy. Yes, EXP Realty, Don Davis Luxury Realty Group, we now buy houses. So if you have a pretty house that you feel that you could sell a lot quicker so you can go ahead and purchase that new home, go ahead and contact us at exprealty.com, express offers, and we'll be able to give you a quote on that house right away so you can go ahead and move forward on that new construction home, which is the home of your dream. So Don Davis Luxury Realty Group, yes, we buy pretty houses now. We definitely want to start off the show with that and let you guys know that we are in the real estate business of not only doing real estate, but practicing real estate. People say, well, Don, what's the difference between a full-time agent and a part-time agent? It's all about practicing. The more you practice, the more you play, and the stronger your results will be. So this week we had a great week. Kind of want to run down the week of what we did at DDLRG this week. We had a week of where we started off this week actually with some history. We actually did an event with Bishop Dixon out on the north side, Community of Faith Church. He inspired us through the Community of Faith, showing us how the real estate development can reciprocate back into the congregation to give you a strong movement of helping the youth and the north, I believe that's the northwest side of Houston. So that northwest side is really built on the Word, as we say, based on the Community of Faith and Bishop Dixon. Also, Pastor Deckard was there with Greenhouse International Church, and also had some other inspiring leaders like Mayor Sylvester Turner, as we had a good event there. But they reminded me of the history and the importance of researching the Tulsa Black Wall Street Massacre and understanding our history so we know how to better prepare ourselves to grow and move forward, and at the same time realizing that if we all come together during this election year, that we can make some strong strides in the real estate industry. The first thing we'd like to do is go ahead and increase home ownership in Black America, but at the same time we also need to increase our credit scores, because the credit score system algorithms will be changing going on next year. So if you have a 600 credit score now, next year that will be deemed a 500. And if you have a 700 credit score now, next year that will be deemed a 600. So you definitely want to prepare for that. It's kind of like you kind of want to cram and prepare for that test. That way, when things try to change on you, you're able to overcome and still establish your Wall Street no matter who's in office. And that's very important to us. So that was the beginning of the week. Then we transitioned to the foreclosure auction. Speaking of an oxymoron, going from good credit to bad credit to what we call distressed properties. We hung out at the Fort Bend County foreclosure auction this Tuesday, and we got to see a lot of properties be auctioned. And at the same time, we're also able to help some people file temporary restraining orders so their house does not get foreclosed on. And at the same time, also offer some advice for the tax foreclosures, where if you have a homestead, you have up to to 2 years to redeem your home if it does foreclose, if you did file a homestead. So it's all about knowing the laws, the Texas state laws, to protect your primary resident investment property. Your primary resident investment property is called a homestead, and that's why we ask all of our buyers, as soon as you buy a home, go ahead and file your homestead exemption to protect the property from unscrupulous brokers, to where you don't have to be swindled out of your property because you do have a homestead right to that property for 2 years after it foreclosed to redeem that property. So it's all about, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And if you know the right people, Don Davis Luxury Realty Group can keep you in that home. We're going to go ahead and head to our first break. Keep in mind, love where you live, love where you work. Love is going to get you DDLRG. I am Don Davis of DDLRG Luxury International Real Estate, and when it's time to make a business decision about your residence, please keep in mind it's a Don deal.
You want to excel, Don Davis is a great guy to work for. I mean, he's a great teacher and a great leader.
He's more than family. He's the guy that's actually helping me roll. I didn't know anybody when I moved out here. He's the guy rolling his sleeves up saying, come on, let's go move what you got to move.
When it's time to make a business decision about your residence, it's a Don deal. Love where you live, love where you work. Love's going to get you. DDLRG, stopping foreclosures, buying pretty houses, not ugly houses, letting you know about EXP offers, express offers program. Yes, we no longer have to say there's an iBuyer. No, we're the buyer now. We are buying ugly houses. We're buying pretty houses. We're buying houses under $400,000 anywhere that's not gated. Anywhere that's not gated, we will buy your house. EXP Realty, express offers. Give me a call and I can help you get your house bought, and then we can go ahead and buy your new home as quick as possible. Don Davis of Don Davis Luxury Realty Group, broker by EXP, broadcasted live sunny South Houston, Texas, 6161 Savoy. Just touching on our week. Talked on Black Wall Street, talked on Mayor Turner, Bishop Dixon, Pastor Deckard at Greenhouse, out there in Greens Point. I mean, people who are out there on the street doing what they do. You know what I mean? Right now, they're about to get in a pool pit and serve in God's house. Well, and that's another thing, too. When you buy a house, it needs to be your tabernacle. You say, what's a tabernacle? We sell tiny tabernacles. You know, those tiny houses are back. And a tabernacle reminds me of how things started tiny. You know, you had tent revivals, you had tabernacles. But when it's all said and done, it's all a place of worship. Your house needs to be a place where you can worship God, and you come out like the boxer goes to the corner and comes back out to the middle of the ring. You should be able to go home, go to your corner, get motivated, and come out swinging every morning. So your house serves as a tabernacle, and if you serve if you take care of your house, it says, me and my house will serve the Lord. I'm fresh out of listening to John Gray at John Gray at Lakewood Church. He was visiting from South Carolina, and I listened to him today, and he was talking about the importance of a husband being a house band. And the husband has to hold the house together, so he's a house band. And by him holding the house together, he's able to listen to God to make good decisions that not only benefit himself, but actually benefit the whole family as a whole. So you definitely need a house band, a husband in the place of tabernacle where you worship, to where you can say, me and my house serve the Lord. And so when it's all said and done, people say, Don, I haven't found the right house yet. It might be the intention. What do you plan to do with the house? Do you plan on doing with the house what God wants you to do with that house? Will you use that house to honor God, or will you use that house for things that do not honor him? And what I mean by that is not, you know, I have no problem with family get-togethers and things like that. But if you say, hey, man, I'm going to start a prostitution ring and we're going to rent out each room, I don't think God's going to bless that. I just don't think that God's going to bless that. So when it's all said and done, what are you going to do with the blessing that God has for you? And if you use it like Bishop Dixon did on the Northwest side, where I see community of faith changing lives, I see people coming out of poverty, going into wealth. I see people revitalizing and fighting the gentrification in that area, to where now David Weekley is buying land from the church. Think about that. When you can maintain your investment to the point where the developers contact you to develop on your property, then you're doing something right. You're cooking with grease, as we say. When you have something that's worth something, and you know when to hold it, know when to sell it, and things like that, then you're listening to God. And that's what Pastor John Gray preached about today at Lakewood Church. He was saying that basically that the gentleman had to know when to listen Not to, you don't just listen to God once. You continue to listen to Him so He can give you daily instructions and daily bread. So I'm not going to go on my soapbox of preaching. Like I say, this is a Reverend, I should say Reverend Real Estate. Now, not Reverend Real Estate, but this is a real estate radio show, and we just want to inspire you to do what you're supposed to do with the gift God has given you, and that's the gift of home ownership. Do what you're supposed to do with the gift that God has given you, and that's the gift of home ownership. And if you don't have that gift yet, say, seek ye first the kingdom and His righteousness, all things will be added unto you. So you find out, what do I need to do to take that next step? And one of those steps can be express offers. That's right. eXp Realty will buy your house. Or if you say, well, Don, it's credit cleanup, what do I need to do? You need to get 3 credit cards, 3 revolving accounts, and keep them under 20% of the available balance to go ahead and make that credit score jump through the roof. So it's like I said, it's not what you know, it's who you know, and you need to know somebody can help you take a step in the right direction. And that's us here at DDLRD, Don Davis Luxury Realty Group. But it's time to make a business decision about your residence. It's a Don deal. We're going to go ahead and go to the next break, and then we're going to talk about the different markets: Houston, San Antonio, Dallas, the percentages of renters and the percentages of properties on the market. Just letting you know what the balance is in Texas. But keep in mind, things are bigger in Texas. Everybody's still moving here. Love's going to get you. I am Don Davis of DDLRG Luxury International Real Estate, and when it's time to make a business decision about your residence, please keep in mind, it's a Don deal.
DDLRG is for all family groups, whether it's singles, married couples, or families. They specialize, however, in the higher-end upscale properties, but they can handle all borrowers.
We want to create raving fans.
When it's time to make a business decision about your residence, it's a Don deal. We're back. Don Davis Luxury Realty Group. Love's gonna get you. Love's where you work. DDLRG, broadcasting live, KKHT. Just wanted to talk about the different real estate markets. If you notice, there's quite a few properties on the market, especially in the greater Houston area. And you say, well, Don, why do you research these kind of statistics? The more you understand about the statistics in home ownership, there's things behind the scenes that speak for themselves. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you a quick equation or something like that, as I would say. Right now, there's 48,000 houses on the market in Houston, and there's 7,900 for lease. 48,000 houses on the market in Houston and 7,900 for lease. And then there's 32,000 in Dallas and 3,000 for lease. And then in San Antonio, there's 11,000 for sale and 700 for lease. So you say, well, Don, that doesn't tell me anything. I'm not in those markets. What do I care? Well, it tells me little things because I can read between the lines. It tells me that the affordability is a little bit higher in Houston, and so the percentage of renters is a little bit higher. So in Houston, you're looking at almost 15 to 20% of the properties that are for sale. There are also 15 to 20% properties that are for lease. In the San Antonio and Dallas areas, about 10% of those properties are for lease that are for sale, and in Dallas about 10%, and San Antonio about 8%. So what that means, if you reverse calculate that, basically what that means is the affordability, the average sales price is a little bit lower in the San Antonio area. And you say, well, how does that spin all the way back? How that spins all the way back, it also means the average salary is also lower in San Antonio, which makes the affordability a little bit lower as well. So all that works together to realize, hey, how competitive the market is, how many properties are for lease, how many properties are for sale, what is the likelihood of me selling my property, what is the likelihood of me leasing my property, is it time to sell or is it time to lease? It's not always time to sell your home. If your home is appreciating at 7% interest, at 7% appreciation, then why would you sell it? It's doing what it's supposed to do. It's what we call a primary resident investment property. If your home is appreciating at 1% to 2%, maybe you ought to make a business decision and give us a call, because a lot of times when they're only appreciating at 1% to 2%, that usually means crime is going up and school ratings are going down. So if crime is going up and school ratings are going down, you might consider selling that property while you're still ahead. So all those little indicators are little software techniques that we use to analyze markets, and we also use tools like Zillow, HomeLight, Redfin, all types of algorithms. We also use the API, which is also a predictor of who's more likely to sell, who's more likely to buy. It's just what we call forensic marketing. These are different techniques that have implemented technology along with the real estate trends to give you the most accurate sales price and the most accurate time to sell based on our computers have taken over the industry, what we call connectors. Anytime you have a connector, Zillow's a connector, Lyft is a connector, Uber's a connector. These are people who are not a part of your industry that have invented tools in your industry to help your industry better. So you want to work with connectors. I don't even know I think Uber owns cars now. I think Lyft owns cars now. But initially, these guys pretty much use their system, charge you a fee to use their tools to better your career, to better your field. So you want to think like a connector, but at the same time be a professional in your industry. You want to be a professional in your industry. And to be a professional in your industry, you have to have continuing education. You have to be all about being a student of the business. And what I do to do that is I attend Champion School of Real Estate. I also listen to CCIM courses, which is a commercial designation that we have in the real estate industry to make you more aware of what's going on, to kind of predict what we call hot and warm areas, heat maps that show you where the appreciation and job growth is going, along with the GDP and the unemployment rate and things that go on in politics. Unfortunately, I'm not a politician. I've always been a faith-based guy, and but unfortunately, since I'm a part of real estate, now I have to associate with politicians just to be in the know of what's going on. And that's how I knew credit scores are going to change next election. So the credit score industry is using a different algorithm to determine if you qualify for a home or not. So it will be a lot more difficult to apply for a home during the next election. So you want to go ahead and get ahead. Go ahead and prepare for those tests right away and start working on your credit right away. And what I mean by that is, like I say, 3 revolving accounts that you owe less than 20% of the balance will make a big difference in your life. Also, you want to make sure that those installment accounts are current, but at the same time realize that they don't hold a lot of weight as far as helping your score go to the next level. So it's all about credit scoring, interest rates. Interest rates are at all-time low. I saw somebody post, I believe it was D.R. Horton, DHI Mortgage, so don't hold it against me, but they had a sign that said 2.875. Some restrictions may apply, so get with them for details. But these are the lowest interest rates ever. Combined with the election year and the coronavirus, there's been reductions in interest rates. So now is the time to buy a home. You can get in at next to nothing, and at the same time ride the wave that we are still appreciating based on the job growth and the amount of people moving to Houston, Texas. We currently have 6 million people here in Houston, but we're projected to have 10 million people over the next few years. So you got about 4 million people planning to move here, and at the same time, interest rates are down. So why don't you be a seller and not a buyer? People always say, what side of the stick are you on? Are you a seller or a buyer? I'm always a seller, because if you realize you're a seller, you can leverage that asset at any time. And at the same time, if it's a primary resident homestead exemption that's been filed on your primary residence, then you don't have to pay a capital gain, and that's when you're cooking with grease, because now you're making straight profit on that property as long as you lived in it 2 out of 5 years. Go ahead and visit our website, viewallhoustonhomes.com. We buy pretty houses now. EXP Express Offers. Yes, we buy pretty houses. We're going to go ahead and go to our next break, and then we're going to come back and talk about our listings. Love where you live, love where you work. DDLRG, love's going to get you. I am Don Davis of DDLRG Luxury International Real Estate, and when it's time to make a business decision about your residence, please keep in mind, it's a Don deal.
Not only do we take care of our clients and our communities, we also are well kept here at DDLRG.
When it's time to make a business decision about your residence, it's a Don deal. Okay, we're back. Don Davis Luxury Realty Group. We got 5 minutes left, so I have to give you these listings that I love. I love these listings because my sellers love these listings. Actually, my sellers were once buyers. They actually bought these properties from me, and now we're going to put them on the market. It's time to transition. Life changes, times change, and it's time to transition to another property. But I want everybody to look at 4502 Southampton Court. 4502 Southampton Court, the Manors at Silver Ridge. That's the Manors at Silver Ridge. That house is over 6,000 square feet. That's over 6,000 6,000 square feet on almost an acre of land, actually a little over an acre of land, going just over $1 million at $180 a square foot. Now, you cannot find any property like that for $180 a square foot. It's very difficult to find. That's what we call luxury living in the city, right off the Fort Bend Toll Road, located right outside of Siena. So your property taxes are a lot lower and you don't have to pay that cap fee every time you transition out. So Manners at Silver Ridge, 4502 Southampton Court, $1 million house, 6,000 square feet, guest house, in-ground pool, hot tub, you name it, outdoor grill. I mean, very, very nice property, 4502 Southampton Court. You can find that on viewallhoustonhomes.com. That's viewallhoustonhomes.com. Please drive by the outside today, and if you'd like to schedule a showing this week, we can go ahead and show you that property at 4502 Southampton Court. Once again, 6,000 square foot home, all over an acre, just over $1 million. Former Emerald model home. That's the former Emerald model home. And then also, since we're out there in the Missouri City area, the most city Don, you got the Lake Olympia. Lake Olympia, you have 1603 Mustang Crossing. 1603 Mustang Crossing. That property is available. That's 2,800 square feet, and that's ready to go. You know, anytime you can get a house that's over 2,500 square feet for less than $300,000, I think you should jump on it. That's going to put your payment right where it needs to be, and at the same time give you access to a new Lifetime Fitness on Highway 6, and also not too far from the new Elkins High School. So Elkins High School, that's actually where Travis Scott went to high school. So it's definitely some celebrities that have lived in that Lake Olympia area. I think even Master P started off in Lake Olympia back in the day. So Lake Olympia has always been a hot place. And then we have Zero Main Street. That's Zero Main Street, which is really 10700 Main Street. And that's the townhouse lots that we have available right across from Pulte on Main and 610. The subdivision is called Karis Village. KARIS Village. Those lots are going for $100,000 each, and they're a great place to build your own custom townhome. That way you can go ahead and add any cosmetic things that you'd like without having to pay the traditional track builder price. So that's Zero Main Street, which is really 10700 Main Street, right off of 610 in Main. And that's a great area because you can actually Airbnb that as well, because there's no HOA in place. So if you want to build a townhouse there and Airbnb those bedrooms, you can definitely do it there at 10700 Main Street. And then the next property we have, if the internet can keep up with us, because we're moving. 3127 Bay Street, 3127 Bay Street. That's just off of 59 in Cavalcade, Collingsworth area. You take a right on Cavalcade and you make a right on Lynn, and you're right on Bay Street. And that's 3127 Bay Street. That's a beautiful lot that's available, and that's only going for $100,000. You can go ahead and build a custom townhome on that one as well. So it's a great opportunity. It's on the Wheatley High School, and that growth in that area is really, really growing. People say, Don, it doesn't look like it yet. Just wait and see. There's actually going to be there's going to be a lake and some shopping centers that's built in that area real soon. So you want to be the first to the dance, as we say, where you can get over there before the prices go up. And that's at 3127 Bay Street. Last but not least, we still have 5925 Alameda in the Mosaic. Yeah, Sheila Jackson Lee, one of the congresswomen, I believe, live in that Mosaic. So it shows you that the security in that building is off the charts. When you can have a congresswoman living in a building like that, the security is off the charts. So it lets you know that those are really safe and exclusive private visitation appointments that you must have to access the residents at that Mosaic condominium. So, I mean, there's a lot of opportunities. We also have recently put some properties under contract in Lakes of Highland Glen and Pearland. That's under contract. We also have one going out in Sierra Vista with Weston Homes. And then we visited Lennar Homes this week with Elder out there. Also, we had Mr. Rodriguez out in Cross Creek out in Richmond. And we also visited Michael Davis out in Adelaide. So we visited quite a few builders, got a lot of irons in the fire. We're coming out almost into the first quarter. First quarter ends March 31st. So we want to come out the game, come out 2020 swinging. So we only have about 15 seconds left. Just want to remind you that when it's time to make a business decision about your residence, it's a Don deal, and we buy pretty houses. EXP Express offers. Don Davis Luxury Realty Group. Love where you live, love where you work. DDLRG.
Do business with the best in the industry. Do business with the Davis Realty. Do business with the best in the industry. Do business with the Davis Realty. Do business the best in the industry.